I'd like to call the June 17th meeting of the Johnston County Board of Commissioners to order. Welcome all those who are here in person. We have, for those that can't see at home, we have a full room and some in the hall. Also want to welcome those who are watching on our live stream channel. Welcome to you as well. As is customary for us, we will open with an invocation and a pledge, and I've asked Commissioner Stevens to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Godwin to lead us in the pledge. So if you choose so, please stand with us as we go to the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we gather here today with grateful hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we conduct the business of Johnston County. Grant us clarity of mind and unity of purpose, so that our decisions may reflect justice, compassion, and the best interests of all our residents. May we serve with integrity and humility, always mindful of the trusted place in us by our community. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag and join me in the pledge. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
All right, and as for those who are here in person, they have seen that Commissioner Smith is on the road to Florida, I believe, so he will be participating via or virtually. I don't know if it's Teams or what it is, Google or whatever it is, but he'll be participating virtually. And I do want to remind, especially tonight as we go into our budget discussions, excuse me, that this board established 6 priorities, and tonight was probably the culmination where all 6 of them are represented through our budget. And those 6 items are educational funding, infrastructure, financial stewardship, land use, public safety, and our county employees. So with that, we will move on to the first item, which is the agenda. And I believe there's a need to adjust the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'm making a motion that we approve the agenda as presented, moving item number 11, the 24-25 county budget discussion and adoption, to after public comments.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to amend the agenda, moving item number 11 to after public comment, which would, it's number 4. So it would become item number 4. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pause for Fred.
There you go.
All right. The agenda is amended and approved. Next up, we have 6 items on the consent agenda. Tonight, they are approval of our May 20th meeting, a Johnston County Public Safety Facility, a 179D allocation. We have a sole source procurement for 2024 Chevrolet double cab truck, and we have some budget revisions for finance, the jail, and the sheriff's department. And then finally, we have an appointment to our voluntary agriculture district advisory board. We have 1 appointment there, although there's 2 positions open, and that was for Jeremy Smith. Are there any of those items that need to be withdrawn for further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I move the consent agenda be approved as stated.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 All right, consent agenda is approved. Next, we move on to public comments. And this is a chance for, and I know there are people here, so I'm going to read all this whole thing. This is for any audience member to address the board on an item that is not already on the budget, on the agenda. When you come forward, please state your name and your town or township where you're from. And in order to balance the need and desire for public citizen input with the necessity of disposing of the board regular business items, speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. And to avoid repetitiveness, groups of people supporting or opposing the same positions are encouraged to select a spokesperson to speak. Speakers shall at all times maintain proper decorum and make their comments in a civil manner. Public comment is a listening opportunity for the board to hear thoughts and concerns of the public and is not intended for the board to respond or answer any impromptu questions. And that goes not only for the public, for the board as well, as a reminder for that. So with that said, the first one up, please come forward to the microphone and again, your name and your town or township.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Hooker. I live in Clayton. And I'm here with Down Home, North Carolina, and also representing the NC Central and Cape Fear chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby. And I'm here to speak about the hiring of a sustainability director or energy navigator, whatever name you want to put on it. I think it's probably hard to figure out when you're in the middle of a watershed moment, because you usually figure that out after the fact. But I think this really is such a moment, because right now you have the ability to take an action that is going to powerfully impact all our lives. And that's not only the lives of those of us here today, but those who are going to come after us for the remainder of the century and beyond. In short, our children and grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and their children. It might seem like a grandiose claim to make about a decision to hire a sustainability director, whatever you want to call it, but it isn't. There are currently billions of federal dollars available to fight pollution. Those funds would enable our neighbors, both those who are underserved and those with more wherewithal, to make their homes more energy efficient and emissions free, and to help us all manage rising energy costs given our increasingly hot summers. And those preparations would better help us withstand extreme weather events. And I think this is especially important since the county agency that is charged with weatherization turned down an additional $1 million this year for reasons I can't really figure out. But assessing these federal funds is not easy, which is why a sustainability director is crucial. Can help educate our communities about what funds are out there and help us navigate those processes. But individual citizens aren't the only ones who need help. Many of our smaller municipalities, as you know, do not have the capacity to apply or manage these federal grants. The county does. And we will be letting both revenue-generating and cost-saving opportunities pass us by if there's no one whose job it is to identify and go after these funds. And as I understand it, the Central Pines Regional Council is also there to help with this process, so you wouldn't be going it alone. And on a final note, Johnston County would be in an incredibly competitive position for much of this funding, because there's a broad swath of the county that has been identified as underserved, and that is the population that these funds target. So hiring a sustainability director would ensure that the first crucial steps are taken to protect more of the people in our county from the worst impacts of a warming climate, now and in the future. So your decision makes this a watershed moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hooker.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, next.
Hey y'all, I am Liz, a Clayton resident, JoCo born and raised, and I'm just here on behalf of our chapter members and members of the community that have supported us to thank Butch and Patrick for taking the time of y'all busy schedule to meet with us and talk more about the Energy Navigator and this IRA funding. I also wanted to be up here to let you know that we are here in our little crowds as we aim to emphasize to the commissioners the importance of prioritizing the needs of our residents and community when making decisions regarding our county budget. But we are eager to engage with more members of the board after your busy budget cycle. You all should have received some type of email from us because we have received a request from 2 NC IRA recipients or awardees that are very eager and excited to talk with you all and offer any expertise or real-time experience with dealing with IRA funding. And if we as a chapter or a community group would love to connect and be that connection for you all to move this initiative forward. While we will continue to follow up with you all, we also anticipate a follow-up from you to further discuss how we can work together towards a shared goal and vision of our community. And remember, this is something that will benefit renters, homeowners, landlords, your sisters, brothers, cousins, mamas, everybody. So we think that a lot of people can benefit from this, and we're looking forward to continue the discussion and to see how you have prioritized the budget this cycle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Anyone else? All right, going once, twice. All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any emails? Okay. All right, then we will close the public comments and we'll move on to discussion of the fiscal year 24-25 county budget. Vice Chairman Harris, I think you have
Thank you,
some
Mr. Chairman.
information for us.
I do, and I'll remind everyone that this following motion is a culmination of many hours and lots of discussions and with our stakeholders and different people involved in the budget. And then it is a compromise in many areas, so not everyone gets everything they want, and so as board members, we work together to try to reach a common goal. And so with that being said, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt the county manager's budget with the following revisions. Reduce the county property tax rate by 2 cents to 67 cents per $100 valuation. Set the countywide fire tax rate at 14 cents per $100 valuation. A 3% pay adjustment in July for county employees with the possibility of up to a 2% performance pay increase in October. In addition, funding is included for the alternate year pay review. Adjust the salaries for elected officials and board appointees as noted below. The clerk to the board, $90,000. The county attorney, $225,000. The county manager, $275,000. The county tax administrator, $150,000. The sheriff, $190,000. The register of deeds, $132,000. And then all elected officials and board appointees are also eligible for the July and October adjustments. Allocate $104 million to the Johnston County Public Schools for current expense funding and $3,500,000 for capital outlay. Approve an RTZ tax rate at 8 cents per $100 valuation. Approve the Moccasin Creek Service District tax rate at 3 cents per $100 valuation. Delete the $285,000 Workforce Development Center debt payment from the general fund. Allocate an additional $275,000 for JCAT's Quick Ride program. Allocate an additional $225,000 to Harbor. Allocate $24,000 to the Smithfield Rescue Mission. Allocate an additional $75,000 to Clayton Civitan Club. And allocate a $250,000 local match for grant on Moccasin Creek project. And then allocate an additional $9,788 to the North Carolina Forest Service. And I'll enter that in the form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion?
I do, Mr. Chairman. As Commissioner Harris noted early on, there's a lot of compromises in here. If this were a line item budget vote, there were several things in here that I was not in favor of, and there's some other things in here that probably other members of the board were not in favor of, but it's like he said, we don't always get what we want, and there was enough energy behind those things that I won't particularly favor of that they'd pass anyway, so I'm ready to vote for it. Good job, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, sir.
All right, any other comments? Commissioner Braswell, you look like you're ready to say something there.
I just, I'm debating where to bring it up or not, but we do have a line item in the budget for helping the new charter school. Is that true?
I think it's not in the budget, but I think it's a discussion after the budget.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure to get that.
And anything over here? I'm just going to say, I don't say special thanks, but the number of conversations that we've had with Johnston County Public Schools and their staff and board has been, I won't say overwhelming, because we probably generated at least 50% of the calls, if not more. But the cooperation and collaboration there, although they said it didn't get exactly what they asked for, but I think we're looking at close to an 18% increase there, so still significant, but still a lot of needs. And I would do want to thank, and Ms. Andrews the chair is back there in the back, but thank you for your diligence and patience and understanding as we ask probably what sometimes is some silly questions, but thank you for the transparency, and your staff for providing us the information, no matter how many times we ask for it by different people and forget that we asked for it and ask for it again. But thank you for your efforts. Anyone else? All right, so we have Commissioner Smith, is there anything you want to add?
No, you're good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion is unanimous. So we have a budget to work under for next year.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say our back and forth and dickering and working with has really put a strain on our staff as well. And they've done a great job in coordinating our questions, and also the school board. I know between the two of them, we've put them through a lot, and I thank them for their efforts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, the school board gets a certain level of questions. Our staff gets some multiple of that in the number of questions and ideas that we all have and share, and then they're working around the clock to make sure, I mean, even up to a few minutes ago, working for us. So thank y'all for that, and if you would share that with your staffs on that. So, all right, the next item on the agenda is emergency services, fire insurance district line changes, and we have Mr. Ryan Parker here to address us on that. Oh, he brought Jordan Piper with him too, so we got the whole crew here. Even who else is out there in the hall?
Eddie Newcomb from Rosewood.
Yeah. Well, I think there are a few people leaving. Give them a second. All right, go ahead.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board this evening. Before you there are 3 proposed resolutions along with maps to amend fire insurance district boundaries due to the construction and opening of 2 new fire stations. With Cleveland Fire Station 3 nearing completion, we're requesting your consideration of relocating the Mecklemore Fire Insurance District boundary, which is served by the Cleveland Fire Department. And with the completion of Princeton Station 2, we're requesting your consideration of relocating the Boone Hill Fire Insurance District served by Princeton Fire Department and the Beulah Fire Insurance District served by the Kinley Fire Department. These changes will allow more citizens to benefit from the 5-mile district of the respective fire stations. These changes will not affect the Johnston County Fire Protection Service District. If you have any questions, I will gladly accept those at this time.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Parker?
How many people did you take out of the 6-mile range, put into the 5-mile, do you know?
We don't have a count, but a good portion of a fairly newer subdivision.
There are 2 subdivisions that were in question. There was one that was in the Claytech 6-mile area that Cleveland Station 3 will now serve, and then there was an area in the Beulah Fire District served by Kinley Fire Department that will now be served by Princeton Fire Station. I apologize, I don't have that number of parcels at this time, but they will receive the lower insurance rating of those respective fire stations.
Sometimes that forgets to be mentioned, that's why I want to bring it out.
I was going to ask you, there's no ISO ratings that negatively impacts anybody.
No, sir. All ISO ratings were maintained or improved.
Great.
Fantastic.
All right. Any other questions? Motion?
Thank you for what you do.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we adopt the resolution as presented.
I second it.
All right. Any other discussion? Come on up. Introduce yourself.
Kevin Hubbard, Emergency Services Director for Johnston County. I just want to take a minute to introduce Mr. Eddie Newcomb and Mr. Jay Howe. Mr. Newcomb is the chief from the Hunter Fire Department. And they're not present, Garner Fire Department and Chief Matt Poole. If you elect to approve this resolution, we will no longer have contracts with the Hunter Fire Department and the Garner Fire Department, who have covered a portion of our county for many years and done so very well. And we really want to recognize those folks and tell them thank you for what they've done for us, up until the point we were able to take these districts over as a county. So just want to recognize these folks and say thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes.
All right, thank you.
I've known Mr. Newcomb for a good while, and he's a good man.
Thank you both chiefs for
Thank
all
you
your
so much.
service to Johnston County. You've done an extraordinary job for many, many years, and you've been a part of our community for a long time. We thank you.
All right, trying to remember, we have a motion and a second. All right, good. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Oh, sorry. Brad, I'll wait for you. He's gone, okay. All right, we'll cut him some slack since he was driving, so.
I think he parked it to make this.
Okay, all right, so we're good. There's all those in favor, everybody said aye, so we're unanimous, all right. Let's get out of that one and move on.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the Lower Neuse Water Supply Proposed Preliminary Project Budget. And we have our Utilities Director, Ms. Chandra Farmer, here to present that to us.
Good evening. As everyone probably recalls, one of the big projects on our newly adopted capital improvements plan is a new long-term water supply for us, what we're calling the Lower Neuse Supply. And in order to have that project ready to go by 2029 or 2030, as indicated that we need it, it's time to begin the preliminary planning and technical review process for the project. So we have issued a request for qualifications for an owner's advisor for the project, and we've developed a scope with the firm that we selected, which will allow us to begin stage one of this project, which will have project administration, permitting management, a project delivery plan, funding application support, preliminary engineering. That's going to include a treatability study, site planning, reservoir modeling, and routing and alignment, and also a basis of design report. In order to begin this, our estimated preliminary project budget is $850,000, and we are requesting the board to adopt this budget in the amount of $850,000 with the funding to come from the Water System Development Fees Fund. I will note this $850 also includes installation of a USGS gauge along the river near our proposed intake near Richardson Bridge Road. That's a requirement as part of our withdrawal process.
When would that be installed, do you know?
We will have to work with them on that because it would be installed by the USGS service, but it would likely be installed within the next 12 months.
Okay.
They want us, the sooner the better for them. They want us to go ahead and be able to start gathering that data.
Right.
That intake structure's near the wildlife access there, right? Correct?
That's correct. And we do have one easement on that property that was obtained years ago when we started this project, but we'll certainly have to reevaluate that as we look at the project design.
All right, any other questions?
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the proposed capital budget.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the proposed capital budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is a resolution approving the execution and delivery up to $75 million in water and sewer revenue bonds, and Ms. Martha Lassiter is here to present that information to us.
You have in your package a resolution that requests approval of the issuance of up to 75 million water and sewer revenue bonds of the county. The resolution requests the local government commission to sell the bonds and authorizes the execution and delivery of all the documents related to those water and sewer revenue bonds.
Any questions for Ms. Lassiter?
This is boilerplate stuff, I guess. I move that we approve the adoption of the resolution.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, motion carries. Ms. Lasher, I think you got a couple more items here. The first one is resolution for the 120 million general obligation schools bond.
Yes, there are two resolutions for the general obligation school bonds for the
Bless you.
proposed referendum in November. The first resolution introduces the official bond order, which gives the general purpose of the bonds. The second resolution calls a public hearing on the bond order for July 15th and acknowledges the filing of a sworn statement of debt and statement of disclosure for public inspection with the clerk. And Chad's already filed those with the clerk.
All right, any questions on this one?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we adopt both resolutions.
I second it.
All right, a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
One discussion, how fortunate we are to have Martha Laster's experience and knowledge in this area.
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor of the motion to adopt the resolution or resolutions, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. And finally, we have a resolution for $30 million general obligation community college bonds.
Yes, we have the same two resolutions for the community college bonds for the proposed referendum in November.
All right. Are there any questions on this, or did I hear a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt both resolutions.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Thank you, Ms. Laster. All right, the next item, we have Parks, Greenways, and Open Space Water Resources Development Grant. And present that is our grant writer extraordinaire, Austin Cross. So, Austin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. As you know, the Parks and Open Space Department purchased the parcel on Castleberry and NC 42 about 3 years ago with the intention of putting a boat ramp there. We have now found funding through NCDEQ's Water Resource Development Grant. With that, it's a 50% match grant, and we would like to construct a boat ramp, a fishing dock, and a parking area in that parcel, and we'd actually have a little bit of room left over with that, so there could be any expansion in the future if there needed to be. The total cost comes out to $283,600, and we would have a commitment of $138,100. We got a little bit cut because we had done the survey and some other things to help our match with that. With your approval, we would like to request permission to apply for that. And with that, we would just need a resolution signed, and there's other supporting documents to show you the budget and everything broken down.
Okay.
Is there any questions regarding that?
Any questions for Mr. Cross?
Nope, glad to see it happen.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the submittal of the grant application using open space funds for the required match and adoption of the resolution.
Second.
All right, do we have a motion and a second? Any additional discussion, comment?
This is above the bridge there, right?
Correct. It's
Yeah.
right beside that pump station.
Right.
Basically.
All right, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Keep on doing the good work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, the next item is a discussion item and potential action on Cleveland High School expansion appropriation. And do we take the lead on this? I know that, yeah, this is an item that'll fall on us. This is an item that has been in front of this board for a long time to do an expansion. I think exactly like the one that happened at Corinth, Holders High School. I know we're looking at 21 mobile units if this expansion is approved. That there will be 21 mobile units that are done away with in time for opening. I believe the schedule is they can get it open for next fall. So the timing is for this is critical. I was trying to think if there was any other, I don't know, we've had some discussion about it in the past, but I think that the part of this board's goal has been to reduce the number of mobile units that the school system has, and I think this is a big step in that direction. The requested amount is $11.3 million to get that done, and I think that includes some cameras for the school system. So I think there was 11, and with those additions for the cameras, that brings it to 11.3 on that. And Commissioner Harris, I know you've been involved. Is there any other any things I missed?
No, sir, you did a great job. I think it's really important. I'll remind the board that we also approved the design fees for that project a few months ago. And so now our next logical step is to approve the funding to, let's go ahead and move forward with that project so we can get that done. And the timing would be very good to be able to eliminate a lot of those mobile classrooms.
I think they're adding 24 classrooms, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe that's correct, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that kind of puts them on track to be where they need to be with opening of Wilson Mills High School. So I know they've got some other plans as we're talking about mobile units going away. I think part of their plan is to look at redistricting, which will, I think, take care of 20 more. So it's kind of in the flow and as the dominoes start falling. I think this is one of the first ones. We've got several underway now with construction, but this is the next one that needs to fall so we can continue on with that plan. Manager.
Where do we fund this from?
Yes, sir.
Here's the man who's
What we'd
using
like
options.
to do is take that million, 11.3. We probably confront some of those funds, that we do that quite a bit, and then bring back a recommendation to the commissioners on how to actually fund it with, if we borrow money or come back with another plan. So we can start the ball rolling. If we all approve it tonight, we'll start the ball rolling.
Yes, ma'am. All right, somebody want to make a motion to get the ball rolling?
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the $11.3 million for the Cleveland High School expansion.
Second.
All right, any other discussion?
Seems to me we were talking about another additional $2.5 million from left over from the bond before. Has that been resolved? You follow
That's a good question. Yeah, from the bond overrun. I don't remember what.
I don't remember what the answer is.
Well, it can be part of the, how to figure out how to pay for this.
Okay.
Do we want to include that in part of this motion?
What we could do is check into that and come back with
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just know, I'm glad you brought that up, because in the midst of all our budget discussions, I think that's probably one that
got lost.
Fell to the wayside there.
It's been a blur, so.
Yeah.
Do we need to include that as part of this motion?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, we have that one out of the way. Next up is manager reports and comments.
No report, sir.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Glad we had a meeting tonight because we had a late-breaking development. Not anything that was to be concerned about unless you're Shander Farmer, and it's related to item number 7 that you just approved on your agenda, the water and sewer bonds. We bid the 210 wastewater treatment facility expansion project, and North Carolina General Statute 143-129 requires that we get 3 bids for that project, and we got 2. And so what the statute says is that we've got to re-advertise. We pre-qualified bidders for this project. We had 5 pre-qualified bidders. 1 did not attend the mandatory pre-bid meeting, and so that one is out. But we have 2 bidders. We believe that we will be able to get additional bidders when we re-advertise. The issue is the time in which we need to accomplish all of these things. And the general statute also authorizes us to use electronic bidding, and that is what I'm specifically asking you to do tonight. The statute doesn't define what it means to advertise electronically, but this will be done with the News and Observer, which is who we typically place bids with, and we also place bids with our local papers and those sorts of things. But in order to meet the timeliness, we would like to have permission to bid this project electronically, and the statute gives you the authority to allow us to do that. So I would respectfully request that you allow us to rebid the 210 wastewater facility expansion project electronically, and Ms. Farmer is here to answer any questions that you might have as well on this project.
All right, any questions for?
I think it's pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I do, Mr. Chairman. What's the turnaround time for this bid? When do we get them back?
We're required to hold them for 7 days.
Okay.
And so we should be able to get everything timely.
All right, do you need a motion to?
Please,
okay.
yes.
All right, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request from the attorney.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
What she said.
Yeah, electronic bidding, so yeah.
Electronic bidding for this project.
Yeah. So, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Yes, I just wanted to update the board briefly. We did have a call today with the Local Government Commission, which is the state body that oversees all the borrowings and potential debt for local governments, and participating in that was Davenport. We had Chairman Lauder, Vice Chairman Harris, staff, school system representatives, and the community college. And I thought it went very well, and I thought it was very well received by the Local Government Commission. And it's about the $150 million total bond referendum, which is part of the steps of going down the road toward November's election. So just wanted to update on that.
All right, thank you. Any
Thank you.
questions, other questions? All right, I know Commissioner Harris and I were there, and I thought the meeting went very well. And thanks for Johnston County Public Schools and JCC for their representatives being there and discussing their bond request. All right, that brings us to board reports and comments. And Commissioner Braswell, I'm starting on your end again.
First of all, I always want to give a shout out to our employees. I think we got great employees that do a great job. Our staff makes us look good. Their employees make them look good, hopefully. I will say that this year the working of the budget has been particularly interesting, and I was really appreciative of the transparency that we got from the school board, and I feel like I know more about what they need and what their future entails, and I think it's going to be very profitable to do things like that for us. I think it makes us all able to work together better when we all have the information we need. And I want to remember to always know that education is very important regardless of what form it comes in, but we have a lot of other sources now they're going to be in competition with, so we're going to be constantly faced with new challenges every year, it looks like. So I look forward to being a part of it, and I just want to thank the school board and those that have helped us get this budget put together, and Mr. Harris's and your work. Y'all took a lot off of us.
Yeah, I do want to say that that just when we think we know what the rules are, they change. So yeah, if it wasn't for change, we would be doing good, but it seems like it changes every year. So I agree that it's been a unique process this time on the budget, and I'm sure next year will bring its own challenges and surprises. Vice Chairman Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank everybody involved in the budget. I mean, it's just a massive process, and I can't begin to describe how many hours goes into it. But it's a worthwhile process, and we all work together, and we get the job done, and we accomplish what needs to be accomplished. And I appreciate all the back to the school system, those folks, the transparency, the information is fantastic. Our fellow commissioners, we agree, we disagree, we agree to disagree, we disagree again, but we always get back to a point that we can agree on something and move forward with it, and to me that's important. I'll echo Commissioner Godwin's accounts. There's parts of the budget that I don't really care for, but for the good of the whole, we have to adopt a budget and move forward. So I think we've done that, and hopefully we'll. The beauty of it is we get to do it again every 12 months. So we can what we don't like this year, we'll work on it again next year. So, but I just appreciate everyone's part of the process, and thank you to the citizens that we serve for the opportunity to sit here and to do the things that we're doing and to try to use our best efforts to move the county forward in a direction that would make them happy and make them proud. And it's a tall order sometimes. There's a lot of needs on the table, and this county's growing so dramatically. There's just a lot to look at, but I'm proud of the folks that have been involved, our county staff, all the people that have put all the effort into it. I appreciate what everyone's done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Commissioner Godwin.
Two things, Mr. Chairman. One, this past weekend was I think they call it the continuous yard sale up and down 301. And thinking back, I think that was a brainchild of our very own Johnston County Visitors Bureau. That's where it started. And I heard a radio station in Rocky Mount advertising it, and people up and down from that far north. I heard people in a restaurant this morning talking about people coming from out of state and being part of it. So that's been a big thing for Johnston County especially. And it's aggravating for all the people trying to get around on Highway 301, but all in all, I think it got a lot of good for Johnston County. The other thing is the budget. In dozens of places around this county, tomorrow morning, there'll be the Amen crowd, where it be from Kinley to Benson. There'll be a breakfast group, and they'll have all the answers. And I like that kind of community, that kind of back and forth. And they'll talk about we should have done this and we should have done that. But as Commissioner Harris said, we've done the best we could to try to get the county what it needs to move forward and address the needs without going overboard and without wasting money. So that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Stovall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to mention that you, as well as myself, Mr. Godwin, and Mr. Brazel had the opportunity to attend a dedication ceremony today where Triangle Land Conservancy is including, I think it's approximately 50 acres into their farmland into their land preservation trust out on Highway 50. And the family there that is making this happen and putting this land in a reserve, 3 generations were present, including a 96-year-old woman who is the oldest member of that family. And it was very interesting hearing her recount how growing up on that land was a remarkable experience, and that she wanted to see this land preserved for farming in the future. And I think Triangle Land Conservancy is an excellent organization. And they said their goal was to try to preserve 50,000 acres by 2025. And so they had actually, in 6 counties that they have outreach in, and they had actually reached that milestone, I think, last year. So they're ahead of schedule. So very good day when we can preserve farmland in this county.
Commissioner Stevens.
I'm just going to echo what everybody else said with regards to the budget process and all of our questions. And again, thank the Board of Education for all that they provided at our last meeting. It was such great information. I think we've all poured over it even more so, but just appreciate everybody's efforts and being included in them.
All right. I had a few things, and I did want to go back to the news charter. I got in a hurry there and forgot to mention it, so I want to make sure, especially since we have people out there who are waiting on that. But I did want to say the budget process it is always interesting. We started earlier this year with our planning in hopes of speeding up the process, and I've come to the conclusion the process ends the middle of June, no matter how hard we try to get it done earlier. And I did want to say a special thank you to Commissioner Stovall, who came in drinking out of the fire hose. And today he's still drinking out of it, but I want to thank him for jumping in and digesting the budget in a way that I knew that he would. But thank you for jumping in and not just being a passenger on the thing, but jumping in and getting involved and asking some detailed and pointed questions that needed to be asked. So thank you for that. The other is on the Land Conservancy. I did want to point out of that 25,000 acres that they were wanting to do by 25, about 6,000 of that has been in Johnston County. 1,000 of it is back under state management, but we have 5,000 acres of land that they have helped. And I know there's more. There was some in our budget this year. There's more to come. And I do want to say a thank you to our agriculture folks in Johnston County. I know Soil and Water Conservations are actively pursuing opportunities to preserve farmland through conservation easements as well. And I want to say thank you to Bryant Spivey from the co-op office. They were there. So thank them for all they do for the county and helping remind us as a board that agriculture is still the #1 industry in Johnston County. And finally, that brings us to the news charter. I know it was not in our budget, and I know we had asked for some additional information from staff, and I think that we're still waiting on some of that information, and I think that this board when we get that information, will be willing to consider action, appropriate action on news charter and their funding request at that time. And anything on the board, I know Commissioner Braswell had mentioned it, but I think that's where we were. So for those folks from the news, some say that we're still trying to make sure, because this is the first time in the state that this has come up. And so we're trying to make sure from our perspective kind of what the rules are, and then maybe from your side to make sure exactly what the rules are before we step off into something like that. So any other discussion on that item?
I would like to say, I did bring a jacket tonight and totally forgot to wear it, so I'm a little bit out of attire tonight. I apologize for that. Kind of got too comfortable.
Yeah, that's okay. We're not going to hold that against you. And I'll say in memory of former Commissioner Tony Braswell, I'll say it's probably all right to wear just a shirt. So he was known to be casual at times. So any other business to come before the board tonight?
Mr. Chairman, move we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.